And welcome to another exciting episode of Way of the Brush with me, your host, Kris, aka The Name Butcher, aka Hey You, Get Off My Lawn, aka Kris, you're being creepy again. Way of the Brush, the most informative 120 minutes on the internet on the wargaming lifestyle. We'll talk about painting, terrain, conversions, and everything under the sun. We usually do a lot of painting talk as well as a lot of what's under the sun, meaning no topics are barred. We'll talk about anything and everything. So, first-time viewers, be warned. And of course, if you're watching this live, you can ask your questions in the chat, whichever direction it might be in for you. And if you're watching this after the fact, after it's been posted, whatever, you can ask your questions to Kris@wayofthebrush.com. It is in the description below. If you're going to send pictures, send them as attachments in the email. Don't send it off as links to other sites because it just won't do it because it's annoying and, it's a pain. But feel free to share, post, brag, whatever. So, send me emails, please. Also in the description below is a link to wayofthebrush.com. It is the central hub of all this silliness. Has links to all the social medias and Discord. Join us on Discord. It's a lot of fun. And, of course, it also has links for t-shirts. And also down below as well, if you're watching on YouTube. I don't know if this shows up on Twitch. The little thingy-mabobbers. But, either way. T-shirts. Help the cause. Look like a connoisseur of all that is good and holy. They're wearing a Way of the Brush t-shirt. And if you purchase yourself a shirt, send a picture of yourself in your shirt, and I will add it to the Monkey Shrine, which is also at wayofthebrush.com. You'll also find a link for Patreon. Huge thank you to all my patrons. Without their support, these videos and this show and everything that I do would not be possible without their support. That's if you want to help this channel grow and become better and just, help me continue to do what I do. Help keep the lights on, really. Patreon support is how it's going to happen. Along with t-shirts and, other gibbly-gook. But really, that's the bulk of how I operate. And a huge thank you to everybody who does. I got varying tiers of support. Generally, it's early access to tutorials as well as dice and, other fun little things and stuff like that at varying tiers. So, click whatever makes sense to you. If you're not able to support monetarily, i.e. money, thumbing up the video, liking, following, subscribing, and sharing the video all help the channel and videos get populated. And, it's all the algorithm stuff, right? What's the other one? Oh, ring the bell, You guys know the drill, right? You guys know the drill. I think by now, right? Big thank you to Carl, a.k.a. Guymere Alfer, a.k.a. Beer and Blood Bowl. It's his YouTube channel. Check him out. You love yourself some beer. You love yourself some Blood Bowl. We always take the time to thank Carl, even though he is no longer with us, for creating the intro, outro, or email jingle that plays before the email segment of the show. And so always much love to Carl. And of course, speaking of love, much love to my baby brother, Evan, for creating the intro, outro of the music that plays at the beginning and end of the show. I'm already tongue-tied. So always much love to my baby bro, Evan. And if you're into rare comics, EB Comics, I got a link in the description. He may have the comic you're looking for to complete that collection. And so check him out, EB Comics. Also, he does a lot of music. He's a musician. And, if you hadn't guessed by the intro music, that runs for like half an hour. I should have a loop of music playing, during this show, but I don't. I don't know why. I just don't. Let me double check here, make sure I'm on top of all my thingies. Yes, I am. Okay. I was just making sure that my comments were all coming in. I had to correct a thingy-mabobber of them posting twice. It was doing that, comments were posting twice thing. I figured out how to correct that, so at least I think I figured it out. Sometimes I can be clever. Anyway, who's joining us here? I can see Mike Grimshaw. Morning, Kris and Monkeys. Morning. I'm making some beer bread while listening. Oh, cool. Cool. James the Kent. Afternoon, Kris. Afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Ebb and Flow. Sup, everybody. Sup. Scott Radum. Kris, nice work on the Elf Lady. Well, thank you, Scott. Thank you. She's not quite done yet. For anybody who's not familiar, this I think will go live this coming week. Start posting videos on this model. One of the monkeys, Eldari Lamborghini, had requested, not that I take requests all the time, but it's a fun one. It's a current model. It's, it's current and, all that, right? So anyway, yeah, what is it? Sonari Calathari or some crap like that? Anyway, doing a translucent effect on her dress and her veil. And patrons got access to the veil today. And this is going to be basically a 4-part series. Her dress, the brass bits and stuff, her face and her hair, and then the base, and just basically finishing the model off. So it should be 4 parts when it's all said and done. Hopefully patrons will see part 4 Monday. Hopefully Monday. Plan is Monday. That's the plan anyway. Plan. But yeah, she's a lot of fun. I mean, obviously, like, I'm showing a relatively simple way of achieving the effect. I mean, for those of you out there who want to spend a bit more time, obviously perfecting blends and, refining the gradients and all that, obviously, you can just spend more time on it. But, if it's for a good tabletop, why not, right? Be serious. Yes, that's looking amazing. Well, thank you. Enforcer 357. What's up, monkeys? What's up? Arnold again. Good evening. Good evening. James Kent. New Death Guard Codex Day and GW have changed rules, meaning the combat patrol box they released is now an illegal detachment. Great work. Really? They changed their own thing. That doesn't make a lot of sense, especially if, they're releasing box sets. Yeah, the combat patrols. Now, I assume the combat patrols are, sorry, I gotta look around my thing here. I assume the combat patrols are like the get started boxes, right? That's essentially it, right? They're calling them now, get starting, right? Get started? Whatever the hell. Start collecting? It's a start collecting box? God dang it. You know what I mean. And it's not easy to find these boxes. Why isn't it easy to find these boxes? Why doesn't Games Workshop want me to find these boxes? You click on the first thing. That should be it. It ain't there. All right. Well, I'm done looking. I'm not wasting my time with this anymore. It's kind of a pain. It's a pain in my ass right now. It's already a pain in my ass. So yeah, I had seen some talk about the Death Guard. I haven't really kept up with keeping current on rules and things like that. So I know that there is some concern over, I think it was like the Poxwalkers and like how the tough roll, the 5+. What the hell's that roll called? You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, yeah, so apparently Poxwalkers, there's a lot of big deal about the Poxwalkers. Poxwalkers? Packwhackers? Jeffers, the Master Summons. Hi, everybody. Hi. The Master Summons. Is that a euphemism for the old ladies yelling at you right now? Enforcer 357. Don't forget to like, comment, or die. Yeah, comment or die. Jeez. That's kind of grim, ain't it? Comment or die. Good grief, man. Jeffers. Forge World finally released the Night Lord Terminators. Cannot wait to get stuck into them. Gonna get stuck in them. Gee. Yeah, they released the Terminators. Well, now I gotta have a look at Forge World. Where the hell's the Forge World link? Where is the Forge World link? Hello. Why is it such a pain in the ass to navigate around this site? Oh yeah, look at these guys. They look a little different from normal Terminators. Call me crazy, but are they taller than normal Terminators? I realize these are probably what, the Cataphracti or whatever the hell they're called, or what are these Terminators? Contkar? That can't be right. What the hell are these? Yeah, like here, let's have a peek here. I got the screen up. Yeah, there we go. So $121 for 5 Terminators. Now, mind you, these are horse heresy duders, but I mean, you could just as easily use these in regular old games of 40k. Konakar? Is that how you say that word? Is that like something specific to Night Lords, or is that the type of suit? I thought that suit was like the Justicar or Cataphracti or some shit like that. Either way, these guys look taller than normal Terminators. These guys look like they should be bigger than even Primaris Marines. Or it's just the way they're photographed. I don't know. I guess we'll know as soon as they come out. Now, I had seen a previous picture of... let's go backwards here. Yeah, like I see like these dudes here on the right. I like these little kitty cats for Necromunda, for the Escher gang. These little guys are kind of cool. They're kind of fun. Kitty cats. Oh, look at little kitty cats. Anyway, the Night Lord, duder on the far right there. He looks like a Terminator suit, where his buddy on the left. Now, I'm wondering, is Forge World changing like the scale of what they've been producing to match more in line with current 40k, or are they still the same scale as, you know, like the Mark IV or Mark IV suits? Are they Mark IV? The Betrayal at Kelthbox, aren't those Mark IV armor? Something like that. Anyways, or are these new models in line with current 40k? Because like those Terminators, they look huge, they look tall, and you know, yeah. Comments. I don't know. James Kent, the elf lady is genuinely superb. Tsunami Calamari is her name. Yeah. Jeffers, you need a core unit to bring Pokwalkers, so a 1-to-1 ratio, right? Do you? I don't know. Be serious. Yeah, start collecting, but more money. Matthew Perez, good morning, Kris and fellow monkeys. Good morning. Enforcer 357, they're removing the evidence if there are mistakes. Okay. James Kent, Jeffers, yep, the Pokwalkers are maximum unit of 20, but there are 30 in the box. Disgustingly resilient, that's the rule, yeah. The 5+ save. Yeah, I thought there was a change for that as well. Or somebody lost an armor save and they only basically have that save. Something like that. I can't remember. Anthony B, good morning. Shotgun beers. I haven't had a beer in a while. It's been weeks and weeks and weeks. Probably not. I can't even recall last time I had a beer. Mind you, I drink other stuff. I don't always drink beer. I recently cracked into a bottle of Southern Comfort. And that was, when the hell was that? Damn, that was last week. Because I was watching C-SPAN and because of all the hullabaloo on the Capitol there on the 6th. Yeah, so I bought a bottle then and I still been drinking it since. So. Anyway. Anthony B, I'm trying to figure out which Turbodork colors would be good for Sylvaneth army. Well, what colors do you want to go with for your Sylvaneth? And then decide which Turbodork colors go with that. I mean, if you're going to go with the typical brown greens, well, they have a really excellent metallic brown. What the hell is it called? The hell's it called? God damn it. Wait. Let me see here. Let's go to the Metallics. Death By, that's it. Death By. It's a really dark brown metallic. They also have one called Emerald Nightmare. Now, I mean, like I said, like this is if you're going to go with, typical Sylvaneth type color scheme, right? You go, Emerald Nightmare and you go Death By. Or Death By. It's just called Death By. I think it's like Death by Chocolate kind of thing. Because it's like a really dark, like Tin Bits, and this is probably darker than Tin Bits, if you're familiar with the GW colors. But otherwise, I mean, like if you're, going to go outside the norm for what kind of colors you're going to use for your Sylvaneth, I mean, well then, yeah, and then just... I personally, I mean, if you're going to incorporate any kind of like really bright colored metallics, I would recommend going with an opaque color and then a metallic that plays well with that, and do a metallic like that. For example, with Sylvaneth, I mean, the tendency is to do the bark, like if I'm thinking of like all the woody parts, right? Do the bark in, you know, obviously an opaque color, and then do the leaves and accent, or the armor bits. I guess I'm not just thinking of like what kind of models we're talking about here. Because some of them I know have flesh bits and wood, and then do the leaves in metallics. You could do the leaves in metallics. That'd be interesting. But I mean, again, what color are things going to be, right? Do you want to stay kind of, you know, normal in the sense that the wood elements look like what we normally see as wood? Or do you want to go with a color, you know, like they're a bright red tree, or, you know what I mean, like a tree trunk that's bright red, something we never see, but on some crazy ass alien demon realm planet, whatever, I'm sure they're red trunks, right? Like pure red. I'm talking like pure red, like fire engine red kind of thing, right? So that's what I'm talking about. And of course, they're your models, so obviously paint them up however you want. And really, I mean, I guess like if you're wanting to use Turbo Dork paints, like I said, like you can use Turbo Dork for both colors, or even just go with one metallic and just, you know, be that primary color all over them. Nothing wrong with that. But yeah, you probably want to have an idea as to what your color scheme is, and I think maybe that's really what maybe you're having issue with. And if you want to incorporate a Turbo Dork color, well then, yeah, go right ahead, right? But I would, if you're going to use Turbo Dork, I would recommend having an opaque color and then use the, you know, accenting color in Turbo Dork, right? So like if it's, I don't know, like say a dark blue, right? Go with a, you know, a metallic orange or metallic red, or even a metallic yellowy orange, or, you know what I mean? You can even go with a pink, you know, just blue, you know. There's many different ways you can go with it, right? So that's all I'm saying. Enforcer 357. I think those are Tartaros Terminators, are they? Be serious. I think Content Car is the Night Lord's name. Is it Night Lord name? Yeah. Jeffers, Tartaros armor. However, rule-wise, you can use them either as Cataphracti or Tartaros. Interesting. Sasha Obsolete. Obsolete or obsolete? I'll say obsolete. Heli from Denmark. Hello. Lord Krabby, sup Monkey Sensei, and Monkeys at Work drawing up a storm. Yes, Lord Krabby's been sharing his designs with me. Something he's working on, and of course, you know, keeping busy, right? Heretic Scott, hey duders, what's occurring? What's occurring? Are we going to talk like current events, or are we just going to, like, what's everybody up to? I'm doing this, talking to you guys, you know, trying to answer something of akin to serious type questions, and, you know, just basically talking out my arse, as I usually do. You know, I do as I do. Anthony B. Soko gives me the Vietnam War flashbacks. I was thinking of autumn themes, so brown, red, and oranges. Ooh, yeah. Okay, so if you're thinking autumn themes, okay, so what kind of trunks do you want to do? Do you want to do like a dark brown kind of trunk? Do you want to do like a mid-tone brown? You could even go with like a very light brown, almost think like birch trees, right? Birch trees are even white. And, you know, yeah, I mean, playing with the fall theme for leaves or for other design elements on the models, yeah, definitely would be a lot of fun. Let me see here. Let me go to the Age of Sigmar stuff. Stoof. Where is Sylvaneth? Yeah. So so I'm having a quick look over here at the Sylvaneth. And yeah, like it's a lot of tree stuff. I would have loved to have done the what is it? Alariel, the Everqueen. I had some ideas for what I would do for that big beetle. I'm sure the idea has already been done by somebody else, but yeah, I had an idea what I wanted to do. But anyway, yeah, it's a lot of bark. Going for, and I've been seeing a lot of these big dudes, these tree lords. I've been seeing people doing foliage on them. And I think that looks really cool. I like that idea. And these guys, these tree revenants, they're kind of cool too. There's lots of fun stuff. So yeah, I mean, like, it really depends on, like, even these guys here, these Kurnoth hunters, these guys are kind of autumn themed, where they're really brown with a lot of orange yellows. It's actually a really fun color scheme right there, really. Now, if you wanted to go with a metallic in there, I mean, you could go with a metallic brown and do a little bit of highlighting on it just to bring up some of the edges. And you could either finish it off gloss or give it a matte so it has that slight sheen to it. Either way, just whatever way you want to finish that off. And then just paint the orange yellows, right? I like this kind of scheme. I mean, this looks like an autumn scheme to me right here. We looking at that the same way? Yeah. So, I mean, that's pretty darn cool. And even like the sword, you can even do the swords in metallic. Although, you know, it might give the impression that you're wanting to do it in a metallic kind of fashion, like it's made of metals, as opposed to some sort of freaky deaky magical thing, you know. But yeah, I mean, like, again, you can run with it any which way. You could do the brown bodies in opaque color, and do the autumn leaves on the branches in a metallic orange to yellow, even a gold, you know. Man, like I said, like there's many ways you can run with it. It's really just, what do you feel like doing? How do you want to push it to be really quite colorful, or, you know, do you want it to be a little bit more subdued, or, you know, it's really up to you, how you want to, you know, run with it, right? So, yeah. But autumn theme, very, very cool. Aaron Seach, Monkey Lord, gave up the beer and switched to ganja. LOL. Happy Saturday, monkeys. Actually, no, I don't smoke that much either. Every once in a while, but no, I don't smoke that much. And the beer, yeah, no. I mean, you know, because Kris has got to, you know, keep an eye on the old sugars and everything like that, right? So, because I sure as shit do not want to lose my feet. They're gonna take my feet. So yeah, I don't want that shit happening. Unless, of course, I can get robotic feet. If they've perfected robotic feet, then I'd be okay with it. Because then I say, well, shit, take my hands and my feet. I'll have robotic limbs, and I'll be a cyborg, and I'll fight crime. Be serious. Ordered a fetid bloat drone. Going to try out your tutorial on painting a human eye. Fingers crossed. Cool. Yeah. Yeah, that was a while ago I did those ones. I did a whole series on painting those eyeballs. I did one like an octopus. I did one like a cat or like a reptile. I did like a human eye. I did something else. There was a few ways I had demonstrated painting that little eyeball. It was just fun. Something different, you know. Anthony B, I'll be sure to post my progress on the Discords. Please do. Sir Peanut Butter, morning, Kris and Peeps, morning. Matthew Perez, making Outriders at work. Be playing a 2K later today once I'm out of here. Cool. Oh, I assume making like a 2K list, I assume on your phone, not like you're putting together all your models and having it all arranged while you're at work. Because that'd be kind of... That's the kind of crap that might get you fired. We need those TPS reports. I'm sitting here putting together my Rhino and Space Marines and, you know. What? What? No. You're fired! Oh. Sorry, there was a whole scenario playing out in my head there. James Kent, the tree revenants are superb, but a bugger to clean the mold lines from. Yeah, I'd bet. Yeah, because they have like all the little branchy things. Yeah, anything elves, right, is always kind of like, you know, really, it's got really fiddly parts. One of the most fiddly kits is Malifaux. Man, those sprues, man, you have to be careful, because the plastic, it had a little bit of give, but it did not take much to, if you overextended, like overflexed the plastic and then put it back, it would just, and it come apart, and it was a pain. Pain. Does anybody play Malifaux? I don't even know if anybody plays Malifaux these days. I don't hear nobody talks about Malifaux anymore. There was a while there where it seemed like everybody was playing Malifaux. That was years ago, of course. But yeah, everybody, Malifaux was on the lips of everyone, and now it doesn't seem like anybody's talking about it. Same with War Machine. Does anybody play War Machine anymore? I don't even know. Does anybody play War Machine? Hordes, right? Warma Hordes. Does anybody play that? Because way back in the day, I mean, like when I first moved to this area, it was the game everybody was playing. In fact, I didn't play any 40K while I was into War Machine because I really enjoyed the gameplay. Even though I had heard of it, there was people in the gaming group back up north who were playing it beforehand, but the models just didn't, they didn't grab me at all. And I mean, I'm a visual kind of guy, and but once I was played a few rounds and got into the gameplay, that's what got me into War Machine, was the gameplay. It wasn't the models, it was the gameplay. Whereas, Warhammer and a lot of the Games Workshop side of stuff, a lot of times you're looking at the models going, wow, those are really cool looking, and you just want to get them and paint them, and you know what I mean? And then, oh, yeah, does it work in the game? Yeah, it's not bad. All right, these models look really cool, but they're complete shite in the game. It's like, oh, well, whatever, and you play with them anyways, and you have fun. Does anybody play, though, Malifaux? Because it just seemed like everybody just would not shut the fuck up about Malifaux. Like, literally. Heretic Scott, the new Slaanesh models look pretty cool. Hoping Khorne will be next. Yeah, Khorne will be cool. It's going to be muscle-bound dudes with big axes and swords, lots of blood, skulls. There'll be skulls everywhere, scary faces, right? Whereas with the Slaanesh, they did fun things with the Slaanesh. There's a lot of fun design elements there, like the buddy who's getting strung up and being played like a harp. That's twisted. I like it. That's fun. That's awesome. And it's that kind of stuff that like everybody on the GW design team that's doing the Age of Sigmar stuff. Golf clap, because they're taking some chances there. They're taking some chances and playing with ideas. And, I've been saying that for a long time, that, Age of Sigmar, like they can go anywhere with that, they can go completely, sword and sorcery with it, or they can take it very steampunk, or the both, right? I mean, or even bring some sci-fi type elements, right? Like imagine, and this would be really cool, is if they brought in, I guess they've already brought in the lizard men, right? Or are they just really just kind of importing over the old sculpts? But either way, they brought the old ones, but they had like the kind of 1940s, 1950s aesthetic for sci-fi ray guns and stuff like that, like the discs and the bulbs and the discombobulator rays and stuff like that. And they had the old ones, but they were like the old ones we know from Warhammer 40K, right? Like that kind of thing, where they have like that sci-fi, that not silly sci-fi, but you know what I mean, like that kind of very Art Deco kind of design aesthetic, right? I think that would be very cool if they brought Slan into Age of Sigmar, but they were, the same old ones from Warhammer 40,000. That'd just be cool. It's just, that's an idea I'm just putting out into the ether. It might, like a dandelion seed pod, it's just going to float on the air, and then maybe it'll land and take root and spread. That's all I like to do, is just throw a little, like, in the springtime, anybody who has like dandelions and stuff like that growing around, and when they turn white and everything like that, and you blow them around as a kid, little did you realize that you were just spreading that weed everywhere, right? But as an adult, you're like, don't stop. You know what I mean? You want to get them before they turn into that blossom phase. As a kid, though, that was great fun. Just you sit there all day, just sending those things everywhere. Meanwhile, groundskeeper Willie's freaking out because he sees kids blowing those seeds everywhere, and there's gonna a bazillion plants are gonna come up. Anyway, Anthony B, I'm just going to have all the weapons an ethereal green blue. Ooh, cool. Yeah, let me know what you do. Honestly, like if you wanting to do a turbo dork color, take a metallic. You want to do an autumn theme, like those models we were looking at where they had the nice brown, armor. Go with a lighter brown, even an opaque color for the inner bits, and just do like the big armor plates. Like, yeah, you see how, like, for example, here, let's go back to the picture here because I still have it up. See how, like, his shoulder armor and his forearm and his chest, those in a metallic, but see, like, his bicep and his, like, below his knee joint, which would be like his shin, I guess. Anyway, those areas, do them in a light brown, but you have like the big bulky bits done in the metallic, and then you did a yellow orange blend on the branches and the leaves and everything like that. I think that'd be cool. And then even the weapons, personally, if I was going for something fun and funky, I would stay even with that theme, doing the sword weapons like in a bone, even giving them like a funky shading highlight color or a shadow color, and then throw a iridescent medium on top of it, or even a not a color shift, an interference color. There's some colors like these right here. These colors here, these are Mr. Crystal colors, and like I don't know how well this is going to show up on camera. Let me see here if we can block. Yeah, see how you can see there's a green cast, but when you lay this on top of a color, it allows almost like 99% of that color to read back to your eyes, and it's only under certain light you'll see this green shimmer on the surface. There are a few paint brands who make colors like this. What the hell is this kind of paint called? I can't recall. It's an interference. Help me. I'm having brain farts like mad today. Like mad. Ooh, something in my coffee. Piece of schmutz. But anywho, yeah. So something like that on top of the blades so that they can still look like an opaque color, but under certain light you'll see that shimmer, and that, of course, that can be, like the magical energy. And this is magical energy, by the way. It looks like more like I'm playing, I don't know, violin or something, but yeah, I don't know what all this miming is, but ignore that. But anyway, yeah, something like that would be cool. God damn it, what is that called? That kind of paint where it sits on the surface and it allows most of the undercolor to show through. But Turbo Dork has a color like that. Pearly Gates is kind of like that, where it'll allow most of the undercolor to show through, and it just sits right on the surface, and under certain light you see it just sparkle. Is it Pearly Gates? Or maybe it's Mother of Pearl. Maybe it's Mother of Pearl. One of their colors. I can't remember which one it is. I'm sure the description says which one it is, but yeah. I still have Turbo Dork's site up. Hold on, let me see here. It's Mother of Pearl. It's Pearly Gates. It's kind of like a white metallic. Maybe they don't sell it no more. Spark Motion. Do I have that one? Sorry, I got a whole bunch of colors here. Maybe it's in their shifting paints. Maybe not. Oh, Motherload. Is it Motherload? Motherload is pretty thin. Like, it allows a lot of the undercolor to show through. But yeah. Yeah, maybe it's Motherload I'm thinking of. Anyway. You're all sitting there going like, what the hell is he crazy? This mofo's crazy. Anyway. Heretic Scott, Adeptus Mechanic Kris. Yeah, with mechanical limbs. Yeah, if they had to take my feet, yeah. And now, this is for any of you Canadian viewers out there, because I'm pretty sure this is only Canadian commercial. But I'm pretty sure is it President Choice or is it Tim Hortons? I think it's President Choice. It was playing a lot during the holidays, and it's this commercial for this really, like, it looks like a giant butter tart, cake, pie, whatever the hell it is. And the commercials, talking about, this, make this, delectable pie for the holidays kind of thing. And as she's bringing it out to her, it would appear her friends or family or both, her friend has no feet. And he doesn't look very thin, so it looks like he, you know what I mean? Like if a fella's overweight and he's missing his feet, you could probably blame diabetes, you know, if you're gonna just play the odds on that scenario. And so here she is bringing out a pie to the guy, and he got no feet, you know what I mean? And if it's his old lady, if it's his wife, man, that bitch is trying to kill you. That's all I'm saying. There is, I think that woman's trying to kill that man. I wish I could find that commercial. I think it's President Show. I wonder if I can find it on YouTube. Oh, I can't show it on here though. I mean, I'm sure I could, but I'm not. But anyway, yeah, I think it's President's Choice. It was a fucking commercial that was playing all the time. Because I was seeing a lot of these commercials, because I don't usually watch TV, but when we're watching football, and Canadian television like really kind of blows as far as commercials are concerned. In America, commercials out the wazoo. You'll never see the same commercial, you know, in a 10-hour period kind of thing. Whereas Canada, every 10 minutes you see the damn same commercials, which is really annoying. And what's a real pain in the ass too, because a lot of times in Canada, when we're watching football, they cut in on the feed as they're hosting it on this side. And like the Super Bowl, you know, often they'll have like the big reveal, like in the last couple of years, you know, they're doing like the big Marvel reveals, and you know, like, oh, we're gonna get the new Star Wars trailer, and that kind of thing would get aired on the Super Bowl. In Canada, yeah, the Canadians cut right on top of that, and it's like, oh my fucking god. It's so annoying. Anyway, Lord Crab, Kris, the flesh is weak, you may. LOL. That and robotic knees would be me. Yeah, robotic knees. Yeah. So I could jump really far and really high. Bionic. I want to be the Bionic Man. Where every time I run. Anybody who used to watch the $6 Million Man knows that reference. The rest of you guys are like, yeah, this man's cracked. This is motherfucking crazy. Matthew Perez. Now just building 3 Outriders. List is ready at home, but dang, now I gotta check a report. Gimpy Lee. Privateer Press is a meme. Privateer Press is a meme. I don't know. Is that bad? Is that good? I don't know. Gimpy, you're gonna have to explain that one a bit for me, because I don't know what that means. Like, I'm not sure which way we're talking here. Is that a bad thing? I'm going to assume it's a bad thing, because Privateer Press, as far as their exposure is concerned, it seems like they have fallen behind. When it felt like back in 5th edition, 4th edition, 5th edition, they really started to gain steam. And yeah, because like in this area, like when I first moved to this area, yeah, I mean, nobody wanted to play any Games Workshop games. Everybody wanted to play War Machine and Hordes, right? Or other games. Everybody wanted to play anything other than Warhammer 40,000. At least that's the way it felt, right? Aaron Siege. I would love to play War Machine, or still play it, but nobody else in my area plays it anymore. Every once in a while, I will break out my swans, and my kid will get out his trolls, and we will have at it. Yeah, Alex, my son, he plays Menoth, which are somewhere around here, and I play Mercs. I like Drake McBain. Drake McBain is my guy. That's my caster, Drake McBain. He's just great. James Kent, for a while, a couple of years, everyone here was playing nothing but Gaslands. By the time I got cars done, they'd moved on to Kill Team. Yeah, that kind of sucks, right? You know, and you're like, hey guys, I want to play too, and they're like, okay, well get your shit together, and you can join us. And you're like, okay, and then it takes you a long time, and yeah, I feel bad. I feel bad for James now. It's like, I want to play too. Be serious. Yeah, I like that some of the Age of Sigmar is out there. Even the Cow Mountains have grown on me. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, as soon as you let go of the past and embrace Age of Sigmar for what it is, it's a lot of fun. I'm not talking about like the game, but the models and the aesthetic and the universe that they're building there. It's different. And, you know, they can go anywhere, right? Like I've said this many, many times. You would not have gotten Ideneth Deepkin in Warhammer Fantasy. You just would not have gotten that faction. They would have put the models out there. People would have just completely shat on them. And, you know, Games Workshop would be like, okay, well, we're never introducing any new factions into this game ever again because it's so rigid. And realistically, the gameplay of Warhammer Fantasy is very rigid. It's why I've always preferred Warhammer 40k over Fantasy, because the free-flowing nature of the battle, the skirmish-style maneuvering of units, which makes more sense logically to me, rather than rank and file. That kind of thing never made sense to me, even in actual real-world historical terms. Yeah, it's, I mean, it's the difference in North American warfare and, you know, the rest of the world, I suppose. But yeah, like most wars were conducted here in skirmish style, you know. But anyway, yeah, it's, you know, I wasn't keen on that kind of rigid. And the only reason I went Bretonians is because they had that really cool lance formation. And it was different and it looked cool, and, you know. And so, yeah. And yeah, in Warhammer Fantasy, you would not have gotten these really fun sculpts. These really great sculpts. And within Age of Sigmar, it's really an excuse to go with these crazy, wild, dynamic poses with these guys, rather than in Warhammer Fantasy, where they would have had to have been sculpted so that they can fit within a block, confined in a box. You know what I mean? Like, it's so restrictive to the creative process to be confined like that. Whereas in Age of Sigmar, because everything is skirmish style, the models can be all over the place because they don't have to be butted up next to each other, right? To form a one unit. And you don't need 60 goddamn models to make one damn unit, you know? Which is also another turnoff for me of Warhammer Fantasy. It was just, you know, to have a good goblin army, you had to spend, you know, $5,000 on just buying goblins, like boxes of the same goblin. Oh my god, like that gives me a limp dick right there. It just does not fill me with any kind of excitement or interest or inspiration or anything. That just turns me off, you know. But anyway, I know there's people out there who still love their Warhammer Fantasy. And, you know, I guess they still want to live in a box, I suppose. I don't know. Gimpy Lee. People fled to War Machine, Infinity, Malifaux, etc. when Warhammer was awful, 6th, 7th. Yeah. But now 40k is great again. Surprise, nobody cares about those other games. Yeah, true. Yeah, once 8th edition rolled around and the game changed and became far more streamlined. We'll say streamlined, right? Became far more streamlined. Yeah, it became very popular again. And personally, that's when I started playing a lot more 40k as well, is when 8th edition rolled around. Because, yeah, it was a lot more streamlined. Very straightforward, you know. The rules were only 6 pages when it first came out, and you know, like it was fun again. It was fun again. It wasn't all this, you know, bickering about this rule over that rule, and of course, according to this codex and this FAQ, and now we're getting kind of back to that spot again. But you know, at least initially, it was like, here's what I do. Does this counter it? Doesn't say it does. Then it don't. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you go right. James Kent, episode 329. 329. This is Magical Energy, by the way. Oh, Scott Radom. That ad is fucking weird. Why are his pants rolled? Yeah, right. Okay, so Scott knows. Yeah, Scott knows. Yeah, because Scott's out in the prairies. Yeah. Like that fucking commercial, right? Like I would have, like, okay, like Scott, maybe I'm misreading it, and you know, maybe you interpreted that situation a different way, right? But I would assume that those two, she's bringing that pie out, and you know what I mean, and the husband, I assume that's her husband, who's missing the feet, and it's a friend or it's their son on the couch, and she's like, you know, she's playing the homemaker because she's wearing like the apron and everything. Like she looks like she's from the 50s, kind of, you know, the stereotypical stay-at-home wife kind of thing, right? And yeah, she's bringing that pie out, and the motherfucker got no feet, you know? I was like, oh, good God, she's trying to kill him. They're married, and it makes all the more sense, I suppose, is that if they really are married, yeah, she would be trying to kill him because he's already missing his feet, and she's taking him out a piece at a time. Essentially, is what's going on there. Or am I reading too much into it? That's also a possibility. Mike Grimshaw, President's Choice cookie pie. Yeah, is that it? Mike, you're in Canada too? Yeah. Yeah, is that it's President's Choice. Okay, yes. It was that. It looks like a goddamn big butter tart, but it's a pie. And she's bringing it out, and Buddy got no feet. And I'm like, and he don't look thin. And so he looks like he's got some weight to him, which means like he's been trying to trim back down because obviously he was a little too heavy because the diabetes, and they took his feet. And then here's motherfucker coming out, and she's bringing him a pie. It's like, goddamn, woman, you're trying to kill this man? Man, that's cold. That's some cold shit right there. Scott Radham. It is still in heavy rotation on football, which still matters for the Browns. Yeah, we'll see how those Browns do today. Are they first? Is that the 1 o'clock game? Or because since the Steelers are out for us, which was very, very, very sad. Yeah, and yeah, so we're rooting the Bills now. We're rooting for Bills. So, yeah. Anyway. Lord Krabby, when you paint, you should do a Millionaire Man movements. LOL. Slow motion painting. I don't get that reference. I'm kind of dense. Aaron Seach, you would never have gotten the Keratin Overlords in fantasy. Yeah, the Keratin Overlords. That's another one. Yeah, exactly. You would never have gotten them. You'd never got the Deepkin. What else? There's got to be something else crazy in there that we just wouldn't have gotten in regular fantasy. And again, the sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. It's amazing. That's an amazing place to be in creatively for people who want to create something interesting and push the boundaries of what we expect. You know what I mean? So being part of that design team for Games Workshop, those people, I'm envious of them in that regard, that they get to create something and they hopefully have free reign. I hope that their production notes and the notes they get back from their higher ups and stuff like that, and where they want to go with things, that, you know, they have a lot of creative freedom, you know, because like thinking about designing something for Warhammer Fantasy and how rigid it all is, and so confined as to it's a world and this is it and this is that. This only works like this because of that, and you know what I mean? Like, blah, boring. Age of Sigmar, yeah, it's fucking realms. Anything can happen. Who knows? We don't even know what happened. This shit's crazy. We kind of woke up one day and shit was all fucked up. And so we go to this realm, and people are flying around on sharks. Holy shit. Go to another one, and you know, they're these little fat dudes are riding around on dragons. It's like, oh my god, what's going on here? You know. Meanwhile, you know, the humans are all riding around in gold armor with lightning shooting out their back, and you know what I mean? Like, it's just craziness. It's bedlam. It's cats and dogs. Be serious. I used to play fantasy and must be the only person who prefers Age of Sigmar, bounced off the rank and file plus magic. Yeah, so you used to, because I used to play fantasy as well. I used to play Bretonnians. But I never played that much. I didn't get fired up for my games of Warhammer Fantasy. I just didn't. It just did not really, you know, capture my soul like Warhammer 40,000 did. And, you know, mind you, that is more of the way I lean anyway for, you know, fantasy stuff, right? I'm more Star Wars than I am Lord of the Rings. I'm more sci-fi than I am sword and sorcery, right? So, yeah. But anyway. Sir Peanut Butter. Maybe I'm just a hipster, but I prefer games like Warhammer Fantasy and Horse Heresy. I don't necessarily hate the models, but as far as 40k goes, I'm not a big fan of the rules changes. Yeah, I like. Well, because like Horse Heresy is playing with the 7th edition rules, right? Like the old, like the denser rules, and that's okay when it's the same faction fighting each other, when there's not too many wacky rules and so many different kinds of codexes, because basically you're fighting Marine against Marine, right? Sure, the Marine unit has one difference that the other Marine unit doesn't have, weapon option or special ability or whatever, but otherwise it's a fairly stable kind of system, and those kind of rules, I can see. Like I get the appeal of Horse Heresy. I also get the appeal from an aesthetics point of view for like a lot of historical gamers, and who like to fight within that kind of historical setting. I get it. I get it. And I mean, even Warhammer Fantasy. I mean, I know that people love that game. Personally, it wasn't my passion. I played it. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't what got me fired up to get to painting and gaming and reading and all these things within the hobby, right? So yeah, with Age of Sigmar though, and I'm not that steeped in Age of Sigmar. I have my Deepkin, which I still have yet to finish. I know, and because like I'm sitting on the box set, a couple characters, and I got the horsey duder and I got the big turtle thingy. Yeah, I got stuff. But anyway, yeah, so I get why people like Horus Heresy, but as far as Warhammer 40k and with the rules changes, like the games just go by a lot faster, and you often are not, well, it's at least initially you weren't going through a lot of back and forth as far as what rule overrules a particular effect, or like there just wasn't a lot of that back and forth. It was more like, what does that guy do? Well, here's the card. Oh, okay. Oh, it's a 5+. Great, and he can do that. Like it's a lot more streamlined, and you can get through bigger games a lot faster. At least it used to be when 8th edition first rolled out. I haven't played a lot of 9th. I don't think I've played any 9th actually. No, I don't think I've played any 9th. I probably should get on that. Eldari Lamborghini. Oh, the days of the index. Those were some fun times. Jeffers, 8th really fractured the community to 40k and 30k. I don't enjoy 8th that much, in particular the d6 damage. Many of the last cannons shot rolling a 1. Well, they fixed that in 9th. Or maybe it was just for Blast. Or maybe it's just Blast I'm thinking of. Where, yeah, you get like, it does d6 hits. Yeah, it's Blast I'm thinking of. Yeah, as far as like minimum damages are concerned. But, I mean, that can be represented any which way you want to imagine it. A las cannon, yes, it's a super powerful laser beam. But what if it hits and grazes a guy and only just barely scratches him and does the damage? You know what I mean? Like, yes, it hit him. Yes, it damaged him. But the damage it did was very, very minimal. Now, yeah, D6, that kind of damage is kind of like swinging variably. Whereas if it was more like a 2d3, it did 2d3 damage. So it potentially could do up to 6, but at very minimum it was going to do 2, right? So it was more likely to obliterate, a Space Marine as opposed to, Tyranid Warrior. I don't think Tyranid Warriors are 2 wounds. But anyway, you know what I mean. Maybe there should be more D3 rolls. But then that becomes very annoying when you're doing a bunch of them. If you're doing like 4 las cannons, you got like 8 dice out there. It's like, oh, come on. Come on, man. Scott Radham, the server of the pie in the ad for sure has a heavy insurance policy on the person she's feeding. Here, honey, wash that pie down with a glass of pure heavy cream. Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. Like, You can't tell me she ain't trying to kill that man, regardless. I guess, regardless of whether or not she's a friend, relative, or spouse, whatever. She's trying to kill that man. we better prepare criminal charges here because that woman's trying to kill that man. Evan Belleau, our pie is so delicious you won't even miss your feet. Yeah, for sure. Now that should have been the tagline for the commercial. Yeah, exactly. Our pie is so delicious you won't even miss your feet. Scott, Browns and Chiefs are tomorrow. Oh, it's tomorrow? Okay. At 3? Yeah, so that probably is the 1 o'clock game for us, right? Because you were out in the prairies. You're probably an hour or two behind me. So, yeah. Because it's 12:57 for me right now. So I'd imagine it's probably 10 something for you. Jeffers, 40k can have the creative freedom with Xenos. Man, Tau takes a lot of different races and needs expanding. I agree. Yes, Tau is one of those factions that, yeah, they can play with it. And, it would be fun to do something with Tau where you could take a purely Tau force, just, Fire Warriors, suits, stuff like that. Or you could take an entirely auxiliary force, right? The Vespids and the Kroots and the Blizzblams and the Hoohan and you know what I mean? Like, and have all them as a faction. And then, of course, everything in between, right? And, if you're going gun heavy with the Tau, who doesn't go gun heavy? But, you go very Fire Warrior heavy, but you want some, some close support and you grab some Kroot or you grab some Blob Aliens or, whatever, right? And, yeah. And you do Tau up like that. That would be a lot of fun. I think Eldar, realistically now, they probably can wrap it up into one big book. But then again, I don't know. Because for the Eldari, right, because of the way, they brought Ynnari in, and Ynnari basically is all the Harlequins, Dark Eldar, and regular Eldar. But it'd be kind of cool if with the Eldar, they did like a big book of them, but then did supplements for like the Craft Worlds and the Cabals and, whatever's. But if Eldar became one big book and you reintroduce Exodites to just kind of round out everything that's available, and obviously anything that might not have been working in the past, you can just kind of drop at that point, because then it's kind of Eldar because then you can take, Ynnari as one book and have, all the access to all the units, or you can play it strictly Dark Eldar, strictly Craft World, or Harlequin, or, even Exodite, if that was introduced, Exodite and Corsairs, or, you know what I mean? Like, go with all sorts of different, themes within the Eldari faction. I think that would be cool. But mind you, though, that probably end up being a big fat book, though. I guess it really just depends on how they flesh out Ynnari. Because does the Ynnari really need to be a book on its own, or should it be like an addendum to Craft World book and the Dark Eldar book and the Harlequin book, right? Kind of just they put those rules in with that same book, It's just copy and paste kind of thing, and just, they slap 6 pages in, and oh yeah, and also if you're going to play with a Ynnari, here's the rules for Ynnari. And you get it in the Craft World book, you get it in the Dark Eldar book, you get it in the Harlequin book, right? I don't know. Whatever. Hans Harold Frenzen? Anyway, I prefer Age of Sigmar so much more. Sorry, Caps. Yeah, Age of Sigmar? Yeah, why not, right? Yeah, again, the models are fantastic. The models that they're producing, how dynamic and bold they go all over the place. Because, for example, any of the heroes, that have come out and they're on big mounts, usually they were standalone characters, but sometimes you could slap them in with the unit, right? Depending on the character. And could you imagine some of these models who are just kind of all over the place, with rank and butted up with rank and file next to them? It wouldn't work. And so the models themselves would be confined, was my initial point with with the whole aspect of designing these things, right? It's just, yeah, very limiting. Scott Radom. I'm with Sir Peanut Butter. AOS stinks. Arnold again. Welcome back on my screen. What'd I miss? I don't know. What'd you miss? How would I know what you missed? How do I know what gaps are in your memory? I have no idea. James Kent. When I think of Warhammer Fantasy, I remember those identical beastmen holding the halberd, but were some great models like the Chaos Dwarf characters on huge flying monsters. Yeah. I mean, you know, I get the appeal for some people, you know, with the rank and file, and, you know, and everybody's marching, and you're in your head, it's like, you know, these big armies marching together. To me, though, that kind of warfare never made sense, and it was, you know, dumb. Especially right up to, you know, obviously Napoleonic and even the Civil War, you know, where they were still fighting in ranks like that. That's so silly. it's because basically it's hierarchical. Right? It's, you know, the officers are standing alone, and the notion of warfare being this gentlemanly thing, and, you know what I mean? And it's a really kind of messed up way of thinking about, basically, humans murdering each other. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's not a civilized affair. Warfare should really never be glorified, really. Like, just, you know, because oftentimes within war, there's often tremendous amount of collateral damage. People, innocent people, just dying for no reason other than being in the wrong place at the wrong time, kind of thing. You know, it's ridiculous. Sir Peanut Butter. I can see the argument, Kris, and I've played 8 to see the streamlining, but some things like the whole vehicles have no facings and are now creatures, and yes, as Jeffrey says, random damage. Yeah, well, the random damage, I mean, like, random damage has been around since Rogue Trader. I mean, you know, damage has always been random. It's part of the game. The vehicles with no facings and their creatures, well, everything has wounds. It simplifies the gameplay. And for some, yeah, they feel that that's an simplification versus now you don't have to worry so much as far as distinctions are concerned in that regard, other than it having the tag vehicle, right? You're just concerned with its tags at this point. And again, it's just a streamlining of the rules, because really, in game terms, what does it matter, right? Like, if you've ever played, if you played Rogue Trader, well, I always liked the vehicle rules from Rogue Trader, and, you know, I liked when there was speed caps. There was only so much turning a vehicle could do at a certain speed, and, you know, you hit a vehicle at a certain point, it had a certain armor value depending on what you were firing at it, and, you know what I mean? It was a lot more detailed, and 7th edition looks simplified compared to that. So the rules for Warhammer 40,000 really have been getting dumbed down. Or, sorry, streamlined, not dumbed. Sorry, they've been getting streamlined since the first edition. Because when first edition came out, it was more of an RPG. They weren't perfect rules, but pretty expansive rules in it. Like the game mechanics. Then second edition comes around, and it gets simplified, and it gets fine-tuned for more match play type of game. Match play really wasn't a thing. It was more of, everybody calls it, pick it up and play kind of games, where basically, you know, you can just pick up with a friend or anybody at your gaming group, whatever, and say, hey, you want to play a game? Yeah, let's play. Okay, how many points? Okay, got your point. You know, okay, here we go. Here's the missions. Here's the things. Here's our objectives. Bang, deployment zone. Who deploys first? Bang, we're in your rocking and rolling into a game. The rules were still pretty much kind of like from Rogue Trader, but they still had quite a bit of depth, and you still had really odd situations that occurred a lot. Then third edition rolls around. The rules get really streamlined. Everybody gets the same movement speed. So before, in first and second edition, you had varying speeds of movement for troops. Even within your own faction, some troops could move faster than others. Like, for example, Eldar comes to mind, where like a Dark Reaper only moved 3 inches, versus Dire Avengers would move 5, and Howling Banshees moved 7. So, like, you know, you had all these varying degrees of movement. Space Marines, for the most part, were only 4 inches. And then, of course, when 3rd edition rolls around, all the movement gets compacted into one, and it's 6 inches. Everybody moves 6 inches. That's a really big simplification of movement, just from that standpoint alone. Never mind all the simplification that went into 3rd edition. Then, of course, 3rd edition, 4th edition, 5th edition, it all pretty much is the same. 6th and 7th, I don't think there's any big changes. The rules just become more bloated, more codexes, more supplements. And then, of course, we were still suffering from codex creep. That was the other big one too, and that's plagued this game since 2nd edition. The codex creep, the release schedules of these rules and rule books, and because basically everybody who got their codex, had a decisive advantage, because 1, they had specialized rules, and 2, oftentimes when it came out, and there'd be like 6 months between releases. So, the summertime might see Space Marines, and then, the Eldar wouldn't see Codex until maybe Christmas time, maybe the New Year. You know what I mean? Like, maybe. These things just took a long time to come out. Whereas now, schedule is, flying. Those books are flying off the shelves. The models are flying out of the molds, and, they're producing at an incredible rate in comparison to what they were doing 20 years ago. And that's not really a big thing that you can say, well, the technology's gotten better. Most of the technology was still there. Molds, injection molding was still being used in 20 years ago. No, it was how they wanted. It was the business model they were going for, right? That's what it was. Because that's when they started withdrawing from the internet and everything as well, which obviously was a huge mistake, because that allowed all the other companies to make gains on the market. Anyway, I have no idea where I am. Jeffers, I haven't played 9th, so I cannot comment on the game yet. Me and my friend are waiting for our codexes before committing. Yeah, even waiting for your codex, I mean, you're unlikely to get into it if you're waiting. If you're waiting for this or that, you're basically making an excuse to yourself. Buy whatever models look cool to you, or get into whatever faction looks cool to you, and just start. And probably by the time, or just concentrate on getting those models painted, and then, then you can play whenever the codex drops, because you'll have a fully painted army by that point, But then, yes, I know, you'll probably say, well, because you don't know what units are good, which units are bad. Who cares? Just buy whatever looks cool. Don't worry about what wins or loses. If that's your main motivator for the game, then, yeah, okay, wait. Sir Peanut Butter. Also, Scott, never said it sucked, but just prefer fantasy. I have a bad feeling about how the old world is going to be handled. Oh? Dicey Guy. Yo. Jeffers. Eldar, the dying race for 30 years, die quietly. I really hope they get a huge facelift given a good direction. Yeah, who knows? By the sounds of the last 2 editions, 8th and 9th, it's, for whatever reason, they feel it necessary that the story of Warhammer 40,000 should be progressing, when it really hasn't in the 30 years before that, right? So I'm not too sure why they really feel compelled to move the universe forward. It doesn't have to, because it is merely the setting. It is merely the backdrop to the games. The games are what motivate everybody to, keep playing. And as far as moving the universe forward, I don't think it's necessary. Now, if they feel it necessary to move the universe forward so that they can introduce new things because they're retconning this or that, and they want to introduce these models, and they want to bring the Primaris in, okay, fine. I mean, it's, obviously it's their product. It's but personally, I don't feel like it needs it, though. Heretic Scott, I don't play Sigmar, but they have some great conversion parts for 40k. Lord Krabby, I had an idea. They bring back the Exodites, but bring them in Age of Sigmar. Turok elves would be the shits. Actually, that's not a bad idea either. Bring the Exodites into Age of Sigmar. That's not a bad idea. That'd be fun. I'd collect that elf faction if they had elves riding dinosaurs with laser beams. With freaking laser beams on their heads. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Jeffers, I just hope GW takes its time with codexes and write good, solid books. They shouldn't need a FAQ in the first 2 weeks. They need to slow it back down. No, they don't need to slow it down. They just need better spell check. They need a tighter editing process, if that's the case. If you're finding lots of things. And of course, they also should have probably a bit more of play testing. So, for example, they reach out to play testers, right? Game companies do this all the time. They reach out to play testers. They, sign an agreement saying they won't leak any of the information about their game, and they get to play with new rules. That doesn't sound like a bad idea. Like, you find gaming groups all over the place, all over the world, and you say, here's the new rules. Just use these, and all it is just an early, print sheet of the rules that are going to be used, and these playtesters can play it, and you give them 30 days or 60 days to play as many games as possible with many configurations possible, because they're playtesters. They're not just simply playing the game, but they're testing units. They're testing this. They're testing the codex itself, and then it's not just simple as, oh, I'm going to make an army. I'm going to use all this and then play some games. And then, I've won like 10 games playing with this list. No, that's not the fucking point, you moron. You're supposed to, make army lists that are kind of broke. And, you can pick one unit and see. And then, you pitch it against this kind of force and this kind of force. And you know what I mean? And you run it through its paces. You're testing, you're doing a stress test of how people can build that list, right? That's playtesting. Not just, I got early access to the codex, and I'm going to make everything all this one unit, and here we go. And yeah, I've won 10 games playing with this army list. That's not playtesting. Oi, shitbag. Oi, that scared the shit out of me. Thank you, Odranus? Thank you. Where the hell am I here? Jeffers, I already read that one. Spartan 2 Paintball. Today can't get much better. Way the brush, briskets, and gravy with a side of hash browns. Ooh, man, you're making me hungry. Damn. That sounds really good. Brisket, gravy, hash browns. Oh, I can feel rumble in my tummy. What time are we at here? Holy camolies, it's already 1:15. I have been talking for already an hour and 15 minutes. Really? I haven't even touched anything yet. Jeez Louise. We better get to some stuff here soon, because I'm aiming for the usual 120 minutes. No OT today. We're not aiming for OT today. Heretic Scott. Maybe it's just because I'm relatively new to 40k, but I don't feel they need to progress the story. There's already so much lore behind the armies. I started reading the Horus Heresy, and it's given me an idea of the scale of 40k as both a universe and its lore and history. Oh yeah, definitely. But I mean, like, the universe, as far as what Horus Heresy is concerned, it doesn't paint too different a picture of Warhammer 40,000, of what the universe is like at, in the 41st millennium. In the Horus Heresy era, the 30k era, right? Things are looking up for humanity. The Emperor is pushing science and knowledge and expansion, and yes, there's some genocide there, but it's a story. It's not a playbook, and things are looking forward. And very progressive for the humans, and the humans are expanding and reuniting the empire, kind of thing. Cool. And in Warhammer, and in the 41st millennium, the empire is crumbling. and is a shadow of its former self. But when you read the lore for both, you don't get that sense of the 41st millennium being so tragic, because it is a tragedy, the 41st millennium, when viewing it through the lens of the 30th millennium, you know, being a time of expansion and, you know, like good times, right? Like the future was bright, and then the 41st millennium, things are fucked up. You know, how fucked up is fucked up? That's fucked up. So, but you don't get that sense in Warhammer 40,000. You don't get that sense that things are just really terrible in that universe. That Warhammer 40,000 is not a universe that anybody who's reading this stuff today in the real world, we should all be reading that going, holy shit, this is a terrible place to live. This entire system, like, as an outside viewer, this entire thing that is going on would fail in the real world, because it would. The whole system of the Empire and the way it all works, it would fail. It you know, and of course, you know, it's obviously a play on things like, for example, like the way the Emperor is worshipped as a god, and of course you have this whole church based around him, and then, you know, you have this amalgamation of church and state, which many governments agree that obviously there should always be a separation of church and state. But Warhammer 40,000, there is not. It's amalgamated, and everything's fucked up because of that, right? And information is suppressed. Technology is suppressed. People's will is suppressed. There is no freedom in the 41st millennium. It's a terrible fucking place to live. And the reason why I say that Warhammer 40,000, the human empire would not work, is because humans want to be free. And because it takes so goddamn long for messages to come back and forth, and shipping lanes, and, you know what I mean, all these reasons why things take so goddamn long, that every solar system of humans would be independent. They'd all be their own independent. Like, the only way it would realistically work is if it was like America, where there was a unifying constitution, and all these little star systems or realms of space agreed that, you know, they all get to govern themselves, but they're part of a greater whole. But that's not the way the Imperium works. It's you know, totalitarian, which is bad. You know, it's not good. So anyway, but you never get that sense in the books. And of course, the other one that like I mean, if we're applying a slight bit of logic here, is Space Marines. Space Marines are always kind of portrayed in books as having kind of higher thoughts and being very intellectual, sort of. You know, when in fact, for them to work properly in the 41st millennium, as far as, like, you know, crushing rebellions and squashing human rights and all these things that you would have to have shock troops for, which is what Space Marines are, they do an excessive amount of thinking, and you do not want that from your dedicated fanatics, right? They should be on a steady diet of very little information, tons of religious dogma, and, you know what I mean, and just very strict on how they're motivated. Space Marines should not be having very deep thoughts, because having deep thoughts would lead to heresy. They would join chaos. And so if Space Marines were as intelligent as what you portray in the novels, they would fucking break from the Imperium all the time. They'd be defecting all the time, because they want to be free. And chaos, well, fucking chaos is free, right? Like, they're free to be whatever they want. Now, mind you, it's portrayed as being obviously wanton murderers, hedonists, you know, sloth, or, you know, whatever's, right? But either way, you know, Space Marines should not have, like, they should not be portrayed as having higher thoughts, concerns. These guys are fanatical, right? They're zealots. They're Imperial zealots. They are essentially SS in the Nazi regime, right? That's what Space Marines are. They're not something to glorify, realistically. Space Marines are zealots. They have to be. They have to be zealots. Because, again, they go to a human world, and then we'll just flat out murder everybody, right? You know, oh, they got the Taint of Chaos? Is there any proof? No? and they're mowing people down, right? Or viral bomb it, or whatever the hell you want to do. But either way, the Imperium, it just would be an awful place. The Imperium would just be an awful place. So anyway. Oi, shitbag. Scared the shit out of me. What was that? Oh, new follower. Lupus Angulus. Thank you. Lupus? Is that like Bad News Bears? Lupus? Anyway. The newer one, not the old one. Anyway. Odranus? Got it first try. Yeah, I'll don't worry, I'll mess it up. Saleswoman from Hell. Kris's impersonation of rando YouTuber is great. James Kent. What's a little genocide between friends? Yeah, I know. I mean, I realize that it's a fantasy setting, and you know, it's a hobby and it's fun time, and it should not be taken seriously. And you're right. If you're yelling that at me, that Warhammer 40,000 should not be taken seriously, I 100% agree with you. But there are a great many people out there who do take it a little bit seriously. Just a little bit. Even that is kind of, really? And you see it a lot in like Star Wars, you see it in Star Trek, and you know what I mean? You'll see these fans who take it just a little too seriously. And that is a concern, because it's fantasy. It's made up bullshit. And you should not be getting yourself worked up over it. It's made up, man. It's made up. You know? The Imperium wouldn't work. It just wouldn't work. I've talked about this one in the past, that the Imperium it's too goddamn big. The bureaucracy alone would cause the Imperium to fail. Saleswoman from Hell. Kris is talking like people understand words and logic. True. Well, I mean, I assume if you're listening to me right now, then you probably have you have at least 2 brain cells to rub together, right? I would assume. Of course, you know what they say about assuming, right? But anyway, so if you're listening to me, I have to assume you have some brain cells. Jeffers, when Girly Man woke up, he said, "What on earth is with the Imperium?" When he returned to Terra, Imperium ideal shifted a lot in 10,000 years. Yeah, exactly. But that's the tragedy. Like I said, the 41st millennium is a tragedy, right? Because everything was looking up, and the tragedy is that the Emperor's son, half of his sons betrayed him. Well, one son betrayed, but half his sons turned on him, and you know what I mean? And that's the tragedy. And really, how strong is a system to govern humanity if, well, it's what, 20 sons? Less than 20 sons and half, so 9, right? Let's say 9 sons leave, and that shatters your empire. It was a pretty flimsy empire to begin with. If it only took 9 guys to break away, then it was pretty flimsy. If that's all it took, right? Yes, I realize there's legions of Space Marines and stuff like that, but I mean, with those commanders, if you just, you know, stop those commanders from leading their legions, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, again, it's the whole problem with hierarchies. Silly. Heretic Scott, there are no good guys in 40K, which I like. Sure. People always make that claim, but that's not the point. Yeah, that's not the point. Lord Krabby, this rant brought to you by Kris. When in Rome, Spartan to paintball. I think most Space Marines would go renegade. I think they would. I mean, if they can think for themselves and reason, yeah, more would turn to chaos. But realistically, to keep dedicated fighting arm that are supposed to be the Space Marines, they have to be fed a steady diet of dogma, which in early versions of Space Marines, they were described that way. They treat their weapons like religious relics, their armor. So when they're not in between battles, they're constantly either training or reading their little Bible, or they're cleaning their equipment and praying, and they're constantly praying, right? Because again, you can't let free thoughts form in those brains, and it's like any, fighting force that we know today. Space Marines have to be constantly fed a steady diet of that stuff. So you realistically, you do not think Space Marines would have a lot of thoughts, because they are kill, maim, burn, purge the heretic, destroy the mutant, hunt the witch, right? They're all these things. Their playbook tells them that when they encounter a mutant, well, kill the mutant. Okay. Oh, heretic. Oh, he's spouting heresy. He's saying he's talking about forming his own opinion about something. Purge him. He's a heretic. And of course, somebody displays, oh, I can move an object. Oh yeah, you're a witch. And you get sprayed. Right? That's Space Marines. That means that there is no thoughts going on in their head. They are just simply reaction. They encounter the witch, they kill it. They encounter the heretic, they kill it. They encounter the mutant, they kill it. They encounter the Xenos, they kill it. Everything, their reaction that is outside the norm of what they've been taught, they kill. That's it. They're zealots. Space Marines are zealots. You should not be able to take the perspective of a Space Marine in a story, because they're zealots. In Warhammer 40,000, they're zealots. Change my mind. Lupus angulus. It's Latin for wolf angel. Okay. James Kent. Whoa. Star Wars should be taken very seriously. Yeah, okay. I love Star Wars, but I don't take it seriously. There's just too many things in it that are just like, okay, no. Okay. Big walking doggy duder. Light speed. Laser beams. Okay, fine, I'm in. I'm still in. But don't try and logic me into it. It's crazy crap going on. Gotcha. I'm in. I'm into crazy crap. Metaphor. Gotcha. Be serious. I have 1.5 brain cells. Can I stay? Sure. Because you can still rub a 1.5 together. If you can still rub 2 cells together, you're okay. You're in good shape. If you're listening to me, you're in good shape. Saleswoman from hell, you get them Space Marines while they're young and just, Hitler Youth them, and they wouldn't turn to chaos. Yeah, exactly, right? I mean, they have to be, like I said, they're zealots. They have to be fed a steady diet of dogma. They cannot have free time to have free thoughts. Free thinking for themselves is heresy, and they would turn to chaos. And if it's so easy to flip to the other side, then how strong was your side? If it was so easy to flip, right? But again, the 41st millennium, it is a tragedy, and it's a place that none of us would want to live, because it is so broken and so awful that we should look at it and go, oh my God, that's horrible. That's horrible. You should not be able to empathize realistically with a zealot. You could, but again, Space Marines, there should not be a lot of thought going on in their heads, because again, they start thinking for themselves, then they start reasoning, and then all of a sudden, oh shit, I'm chaos. Oh damn it, I'm on the chaos side now. They start to sound like Gil from Simpsons. Oh no. How did I turn to chaos? I don't know. Anyway, Matthew Perez. Seeing as most of the novels are written around higher ranking Marines, could the basic duder be more of this zealot we're talking about? Whereas a Captain Space Marine is quite more free thinking. No, even a captain. Because a captain, it's not to say that he can't form tactics, because he can be taught and schooled tactics. But if his schooling is constantly bombarding him with radical ideology, then he still is going to be a competent leader, because he can employ tactics laid out by their codexes, right? So, yeah, but captains wouldn't have free thoughts either, even the chapter master, right? They wouldn't have free thoughts. Now, you get instances where, for example, like the Dark Angels, where they have the inner circle, and you learn of the inner circle once you enter, into the high ranks, right? But are they heretics? Are Dark Angels heretics? In Warhammer 40,000. Are they heretics? Well, even in the 30K, are they heretics? But anyway, that's the fun part, right? But again, it's made up stuff. And, but realistically though, telling a realistic story of a Space Marine, you should not be able to empathize with them. And I've said this before also, like, they go through modification. Their genome is changed, right? And they say it's like a 5% difference or 2% difference between us and a chimp, and we can't even communicate with them, but we share so much of the same DNA. And so a Space Marine who's changed, 1 or 2% would be beyond us. And imagine the Primarchs. The Primarchs would literally be like gods to us. They would not make any sense. And the way they're described in the book, that they can move super, super fast. You can't even see them. Like, even Space Marines have a hard time seeing the movement of a Primarch. So imagine these gods walking around, right? Their thoughts would be incomprehensible to us. You could not empathize with these Primarchs, these aliens. It would be like trying to empathize with a dolphin, right? Oh, he's flopping around being happy. You can see the surface things, but you don't know what's going on. You don't know what the intentions and what the purpose and everything that they're doing. You do not understand them. And Space Marines, Primarchs, you wouldn't understand them. Because, their thoughts would just be beyond humans, regular humans. But we need stories about Space Marines, so they're written from the perspective of regular kind of guys. But realistically, they wouldn't. In 30K, it's a different story, because there's this sense that everything's on the upward swing of progress, right? That there's going to be this bright, bold future for humanity and the technology. And in the first couple books, you realize that the Emperor is pushing science and logic, as opposed to spiritualism and superstition, right? They're pushing back superstition and embracing pure logic, science, which sounds like, okay, well, yeah, they're on an upward swing. They're going to progress and become, humanity's going to be, the beacon of civilization, and what I mean, like all these things. And then of course it crumbles because half of them disagree, so sorry, that's basically a roundup of what the Horse Heresy is all about, really. For anybody who's not familiar. Where the hell am I? Heretic Scott, size doesn't matter unless it's less than 1.5. It looks like a mushroom cap. Is that what we're talking? Is that what we're talking about? We're talking about mushroom caps. How did we go from the Horse Heresy to mushroom caps? Lupus, the Tyrant of Badab, is a good example. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, any example. I mean, a Space Marine's tourney, right? Like the Soul Drinker series. I like the Soul Drinker series because that's how, you're a loyal Space Marine, and then all of a sudden through your choices, you're not. That's a fun one of how basically a chapter can slip into chaos and not realize it, right? Because even like Chaos Marines, you'd imagine that, well, they're like, well, no, they're wrong. And you know what I mean? Like, from their side of view, the Imperium's wrong, and they're going to destroy humanity, and blah blah. Mind you, though, I mean, it's kind of hard to talk logic to a Khorne Berserker because he's kill, maim, burn, right? So, when that's when your main policy is just kill, maim, burn, it's kind of hard to reason with somebody like that because they already have their stance. They've already broadcast their stance. They're not interested in parlay. I mean, it's kill, maim, burn. That's it, So, all right. James and Kent, all Trader Legions now talk like Gil. Yeah, basically. Spartan debate ball. Space Marine. Shit, am I the bad guy? Are you the bad guy? Well, yeah, because they're the shock troopers of the Imperium. They suppress human will, human freedoms. Space Marines aren't good guys. They're not good guys. If they were good guys, the stories for Space Marines would always be about them sacrificing themselves to save a village, a city, right? But I don't ever see any Space Marine stories about them sacrificing themselves to save a planet. Because that's what, I mean, if they're true heroes, right? If they're true heroes, that's what their stories are about. Them sacrificing themselves so that the rest of humanity can forge forward. That's what heroes do, right? That's heroes. Everything else is not heroic. Honor, right? Having a code of honor is the mark of heroes. Now, when that code is mostly dogma, that's not hero. That's not heroic, right? Man. Lord Krabby. So 5-year-old autistic kids in power armor then. Yeah, that's kind of what you would need. Yeah. That sounds awful, but it is kind of like that. It doesn't have to be autistic kids. I mean, it can just be anybody. And that's where, you can tell a compelling story of how people become zealots, where they're constantly fed a steady diet of dogma and propaganda and, all these things. And if that's all they hear, then that's all they think. And so when they encounter situations, it gets broken down into a very simple equation. Kill, maim, burn, purge the heretic, kill the Xenos, hunt the witch. You know what I mean? All the dogma of what we know as being very common speech in, Space Marines, right? Kill the heretic kind of stuff. So, again, Space Marines, there should not be a lot of thought going on up in those skulls. In Warhammer 40,000. In 30K, sure. Warhammer 40,000 though, no. Because there is no separation of church and state. So they are the shock troopers of that tyrannical regime. Be serious. The books about the Inquisition are good for showing an awful life in Warhammer 40,000. It's not showing many Space Marines. Sure. James and Kent. So trying a new Death Guard color scheme today, doing the cloaks purple. This turns Plague Marines into Mardi Gras Marines. I don't know about Mardi Gras, but sure. Lupus. That is pure logic. I kill, I maim, I burn. Pure logic. Sure. And that's why I said, you can't, you can't reason with programming like that. You know what I mean? He's just, kill. What's in front of me? I kill. What's in front of me? Maim. Okay, I'll maim it. Burn. Oh, yeah, burn. Kill, maim, burn. Ooh, I'll do all three. You know what I mean? There's not a lot going up in those skulls. So, there's no reasoning. You can only pretty much just kill them. There's no defeating them. You can't, again, they can't reason, right? If they're just strictly thinking kill, maim, burn, there's no reasoning with that. There's no appealing to any kind of better nature. All you can do is just exterminate them, which is tragic because they're zealots. There's zealots. I don't know how one deprograms a zealot. I'm sure there's plenty of literature written about deprogramming people, zealots. And that might be something people might want to read today. But anyway. Heretic Scott, what about salamanders? They're closer to good guys. Maybe? Are salamanders sacrificing themselves to save worlds? If they are, then they're heroes. They're heroic, right? Because basically a Space Marine, right? If they're protecting humanity, then their every action is to protect humanity, right? But if they can willfully go in and exterminate a world, a village, whatever, they're not about protecting humanity. They're not heroes. Anytime they can just collateral damage a world, yeah, they're not heroes. Evan Belleau, everything is fine, everybody. It's safe to come out. The Khorne Berserker just wanted his chain axe back. We won't. We have won the peace by handing it to him. Yeah, it's not going to happen that way. You know what I mean? Like, that's not the way it's going to break down. Khorne Berserkers kill, maim, burn, man. Like, skulls for the skull throne, blood for the blood god, right? Like, that's his creed right there. You know it. Nothing says, oh well, we'll sit down and have a reasonable discussion about the issues at hand and why we're in this conflict, and let's try and end this needless loss of life. Nobody fucking says that in Warhammer 40,000. Now, mind you, I mean, it's made up fantasy stuff, and again, like when you try and apply real world type things, it all falls apart. So it's fantasy. Yes, I realize. It's fun. It's a universe. It's scary. It's tragic. Yes, I see that. Anybody who sees it like it's a playbook, you have some fucking issues. And I take you back to the deprogramming zealots. Where am I? Jeffers, warrior monks in space. Yeah, that's the way they've always been described, right? Warrior monks. And that imagery always makes sense. So Space Marines should never have any kind of interactions. They shouldn't have shore leave on worlds with other humans, because that can always mess up the programming, right? When they see what life is like for regular humans, because they're not regular humans, they're super engineered, and they are supposed to serve one purpose. And when something has one purpose, you do not need it clogged up with free-forming thoughts. It's a steady diet of dogma, ritual, right? That's you make zealots, and that's because if they have one purpose in the galaxy, and that's to die for humanity, because invariably they will die. You will send them in to die. That their job is to die for humanity. That's the point. And if there's only a limited number of them, well, now apparently the Primaris, they can just refill the ranks, right? And why not? Just send them in. Aaron Seach, email time? Yeah, holy crap. Yeah, we got 16 minutes left here. Jeffers, cornflakes. Maybe that's why they're so mad. No milk. Be serious. Space Marines going to Ibiza for a dance. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, Space Marines don't go on shore leave, right? Regular human Marines, like today, the Marine Corps, they go on shore leave and they get into a bunch of trouble because they're letting off steam, and you know what I mean? Because it's a rigorous lifestyle, and of course, regular people who joined the Marine Corps came from certain backgrounds and have had a life up to that point. Then of course they are drawn in and recruited, and go through a process to make them a soldier. And then of course when you go off on the shore leave, it's to blow off a bit of steam, have a bit of fun, relax, and realize now this might seem like a platitude or whatever, but to remind you basically when you go on shore leave what you're fighting for, right? Typically, right? Like I would assume that's the purpose of that, is to remind the soldiers that no, this is why you're fighting, because the way of life and the pleasures of that way of life, right? So Space Marines shouldn't get that opportunity because, well, sometimes they're recruited right from out of childhood, like small kids, and then they're growing up and whatever, right? It's not like they have a recruiting process where they're checking off and do you have diabetes? No, good. Do you have 20/20 vision? No, that's fine. You know what I mean? Like, there's no checklist, and it's not like a lineup of people going, I'm going to join the Marine Corps. It's not like that. It's they take them from kids and and genetically modify them. Again, like little kids aren't going to have a whole lot of life experience, and so it's easier to indoctrinate people, and that's why places that indoctrinate people really want to indoctrinate kids, because it's easier to fill that cup when it's small like that. Evan Belleau, I was going to build a bench today, but my hammer was hanging out and the box of nails last weekend and has some questions. What? My hammer was hanging out with the box of nails last week and has some... I don't get it. Is that a dad joke? I don't get it. Saleswoman from hell. Real people have a sense of self and personality, individuality. Right. And you don't want that. But, I mean, personality and individuality, I mean, anybody who has served in the military, Canadian, European, American, whatever, knows that your individuality is usually suppressed when you join up in a fighting arm. You have to be. To form as a unit. To work as a unit, you can't think of yourself as an individual. You think of yourself as part of a team, part of a unit. So your individuality is suppressed at that point. So Space Marines would be even more so because, you know, they're the fighting arm of the Imperium, right? Anyway. Lupus. Child soldiers is pretty much what a Space Marine are. Yeah. Yeah. And again, they really, should not have a lot of deep thoughts. Because again, a lot of them, if they're recruited as children, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like they should be given like scholarly educations, because, you know, anybody who has gone into higher learning in the real world, gone to college or university, right? Which is why oftentimes people who universities and such often get labeled as being very liberal, is because education often opens your eyes to a lot of things. As you become aware of a lot of things, you learn about these things going on, and you learn about histories of other places and peoples and other ideas, and you all these ideas start filling your head, and you start, you know, putting these all together, and you realize that the world you're living in, you know, hey, there's some serious problems here. And that's often why in the real world universities and such get labeled as being very liberal, is because people start to open their eyes when they become more educated, which is why in the world today, really, you know, there needs to be more education, better healthcare, better education, especially for America. So Space Marines should not be portrayed in the sense that they're sitting around reading books of philosophy. And in Horus Heresy, yes, fine, because that's a different time. But in Warhammer 40,000, they should not be portrayed that way, that they're sitting around reading books about philosophy, and you know what I mean? It should be they're sitting there reading their little Imperium Bible, and that's it. That one book is the only book that they should be referring to, because they're zealots, right? Because, I mean, again, you can draw the real world parallel that all the zealots are only reading one book. All their information is coming from one book. Pick your zealot on anywhere in this planet, but it's often just one book they're reading from, right? So that's all I'm saying. Evan Belleau. Space Marines are a tool. They don't get to question the tasks they perform. Right, exactly. No, and they shouldn't, and they should never. And realistically, you would not get a lot of, you know, back talk from a Space Marine, because yeah, they're not going to have thoughts. Especially if they're from childhood and they're fed a steady diet of dogma and propaganda, they're not a lot of thinking. There's not deep thoughts going on there. There can't be, otherwise they would break. They would all of a sudden start to question what they're doing, and you can't have questions, especially when you're supposed to be coordinating a fight. Right? Unit A is moving up, Unit B's got to cover, and then once these guys are in this position, these guys begin their attack, and you know what I mean? Like, making coordinated assaults, you can't have any questions without that line. And if Unit A is to go off and die, that needs to happen. They can't question that, and their entire life should be dedicated to just falling on their swords, right? That's their task. Lupus, free thinking. Yeah, you can't have free thinking. All right, let's do an email, because holy crap, we got 9 minutes left of the show, so let's jump into an email. If you're wearing headphones, turn them up or down, because here it comes. email time. It's email time. Oh, it's done. Is it done? It's done. It's done. This one's from our good buddy Legion. Hello, Kris and monkeys. One more goblin is finished. One more goblin? Jeez Louise. I incorporated some of the tips from the last gobbo and used oil colors for the skin tones. Best regards from Germany, Legion Miniatures. So let's have a look at his Goobelin. His Goobelin. Ooh, look at this. Ooh, I like the work on the leather. I like the skin. I like the little warm tones at the elbows and the hands and stuff like that. Nice and clean. Like paint, paint is in areas where it visibly should be. Not. It looks clean. Oh, look at his eyes. Man, this guy looks like a maniac. I like the shield too. I like the rust and the oxidizing. I think the little tuft of hair at the base of the spear, I mean, you may have been able to go with something else there other than just black. You could have even went with like a creamy white or black and white, or even say a slight dark red, like the leather of his thingy mabobber. Yeah, could have did something there. It's a different color there, but anyway. I really like the work on the shield. That's really great. His face is fantastic. I love all the work in his lip, and this. I like when orcs and goblins are given this really kind of bright green. Personally, I like that. I like when they have the warmer tones in the chin, the nose, the ears, the elbows, the fingers. All that to give the skin a bit of depth. Oh, around the eye as well. I really like that as well. Yeah, really great work on the eyes though. He looks like a maniac. That's the kind of look that you don't want to see when you drop the soap. Really fantastic work, Legion. The shield, I like how you got like little scratch marks going on there. I don't know if that's intentional or unintentional. I'm gonna have to say that's intentional, of course. Yeah, I think it's like from your dry brushing, because you dry brush the edges out. Yeah, I like the rusting. I think the spear tip probably could have used a similar level of rusting, coming just a little further, I think. But yeah, whatever. That doesn't matter. I think, my only thing is that little tuft of fur or hair, whatever it is, at the end of the spear that goes around the spear tip. If that could have been something else other than black. It could have been an off-white, like he did the cap of his helmet. Or it could have been black and white, like it would have been striped. Bundles of hairs or furs, whatever, right? Could have been in color, could have been like the similar red as his armor. But yeah, really great work though. Oh, is that it? That's the last picture. Thank you, Legion, for sending that in. Awesome stuff. I think it's fantastic, and yeah, thanks for sharing. We got look at this. We got some more. Got one from Scott Redome. Just continuing it in Orlok, I sent in last week. You had recommended a little more of the separation between the color areas. Good call. The Cawdor dude, I tried. These are Orlok, not Cawdor. Unless you're talking about something else. Cawdor dude, I tried to make sure the separation between the flesh and the weird arm rope thingies was a little more obvious, and I think it helps. Be well. Let me know if you think anything else worth bumping up on the next ones. And so here are the Orlok. Oh, okay, yeah, I see the Cawdor dude. Sorry, okay, the Cawdor dude. I think the guys look fantastic. Yeah, buddy. I think we looked at the buddy on the far left last week, or maybe it was the guy in the middle, or maybe I'm just misremembering it. And these guys are from. I was seeing these in Discord because you may have been posting in Discord. Either way, yeah, the Cawdor dude. Yeah, looks really great. Now, is he part of your Orlok gang? Like, are you having him in there? Is that what's going on here? I like the straightforward color scheme going on here. This off blue with this deep tan color, and then with this khaki kind of accent, this cream color. I like that. Sorry, I'm just looking them over. I don't have anything, like as far as like anything kind of nitpicky. I mean, no, these look fantastic. I think the bottle in the Cawdor's hand, that would have been a fun place to try some transparency. Or maybe you did. I just can't see it. I don't know. Or you know what? I guess I should click and see if there's for more pictures, right? Maybe just shut my mouth and just have a look. Yeah. I like you. Yeah, I like that red tone that you got going on for like the leather and the jackets and everything. I like that. Looks like you throw in like a little splash of gray in there just to desaturate it a bit. Yeah, the little Molotov cocktail in his hand, that'd have been a fun place to try some transparency, like it was filled with liquid. Or did you? I did a video a while back using this example, liquid in a bottle. I don't know if you saw that one. Really, the big one is obviously paying attention to that horizon line. But I don't know if you're doing the outside shine or if you're representing an inside shine, like the liquid is illuminated. Either way, really good. Yeah, I like to work on the face too. I like that. I like the way that goes to a really deep shadow in the face and then goes to that nice bright abrupt highlight around the eyes. Really brings that a lot of depth into that face, especially behind that freaky deaky mask. But thank you, Scott. Awesome stuff. I don't really have anything to say. It's consistent with how you paint. It's nice and clean. I like the tones. I like the color scheme. Really subtle colors used. Yeah, I think just really that bottle. I think that'd have been a fun opportunity to do that more like a like a Molotov cocktail kind of thing, and just show like a transparency there, something different to play with. Yeah, I mean, and again, it's all about what kind of vibe you want to do on your models, right? I mean, going into the character, because I mean, like the Orlocks, they're kind of like a biker gang, whereas the Cawdor, they're zealots, right? And so, but they're kind of ragtag, and so they would not have the same kind of look as the Orlocks if you're getting into the whole nitty gritty of it all, right? But I mean, you do you, dude. You do you. Did Scott leave a comment here? Scott, it's just painting project, probably for Stargrave. We'll do some Goliath and stuff in the same palette. Oh, really? So you're gonna have kind of do like a gang of them, but it's just a mix of duders. That's interesting. Yeah, look forward to that. Heretic Scott, nice work on the mask. Really stands out. Yeah. Outside shine on the bottle. Okay, so it's an outside shine on the bottle. Well, you can still do that outside shine and still make the interior look like it's got liquid, right? If you wanted to play with that. But yeah, that's the way I did that. Do I have it here? No. Yeah. Oh, just recently, I made a little post about this on in the Discord. I recently reacquired this old guide. I had this guide when I had the paint set way back in the day, and I've been on this kick of acquiring guides and everything like that. And yeah, this one's really fun. It's even got doing the old banners and stuff. And I'm pretty sure I've done these banners before. I think it was like the Blood Angel one. I think it was the chapter banner I had done. Because I used to paint my Space Marines way back in the day when I had the old Beaky Marines. I used to do them as Blood Angels. And then I think a lot of them got converted to be Luna Wolves when I went Chaos. When I started my Chaos Force, yeah, my Chaos Force was full of Beaky Marines. So, yeah, anybody who used to play with me remembers that. But yeah, it's an old book. It's a relic. This is, I think, 88, 89. Oh, yeah. Because, yeah, I used to, do, like, the shoulder pads. Let's see here, yeah. I had these old guides in them. Salamanders. The Ultramarine one's really nice, too. Yeah, and then the Space Wolves and the old Lehman Russ. The old Lehman Russ model right there. I like the Space Wolf one. And I think they used that one, don't they? Isn't that one still used? Yeah. There, that one there. Yeah. The Ultramarine ones are really cool, too. Yeah, that's cool. Anyway. Yeah. I picked this one up. Just because. And I think, well, I was thinking about doing a video on this. I was thinking about recording a video and just talking about, you know, because like this was one of my early Bibles when I was learning to paint miniatures and such. I was only 13, 14 when I was starting to get into all this. Well, 88. I'd have been 13. Yeah. Well, I would have turned 13 in 88. But anyway. What time we at here? Holy crap! It's 2 minutes overtime. And we're done talking about Scott's pictures, right? Yes, we are. Do I have any other ones? No, I do not. Okay, so I have no more emails. And if you send one, I'm sorry, but I'm not reading it. You know what also we haven't been doing lately is the Instagram. Having a look at Instagram. It's something I started doing and we kind of fell off doing it, and so I think quickly I will do it. Scott Radham, yeah, I love the Necromunda range. Every gang speaks to me. They're all really cool. All the gangs are really cool. But I really like the Corpse Grinders. I just, for whatever reason, Corpse Grinders just really speak to me. Just different, you know. And they're just maniacs. And it's a lot of fun. And it's dark. And the whole Dark Uprising for Necromunda, yeah, it's definitely added some grimdark to Necromunda that I like. You know, the fact that it's a story of a hive that's obviously has fallen, right? It's just really interesting. It's just really interesting. I dig it. I dig the whole setting. I'm in. They've won me over on Dark Uprising for Necromunda. I mean, I was already in Necromunda. I was in Necromunda, but I mean, like, I was already, you know, into Necromunda. Anyway. Let's have a quick look over at the Instagram side of things. These are all my shit here. Well, that's, yeah, somebody else. Okay, so here we go. So anybody who wants, you know, doesn't feel like writing me an email, but, you know, wants to share what they're doing, well, here we go. And look at this. That's really good. I like the edging. I like the highlights. Nice solid color. Looks clean. I like the fist too, the gold fingers. I like that. You don't really see that often. I don't know. At least I don't see that often. Yeah, I like that you paint the eyes too. Dang. Shaky brush minis. Well, this gets a like. There we go. Next one. Goobelins. Goobelins. I always like me some Goobelins. This is the Auditor 19. Nice work on the Goobelins. Nice highlighting on the flesh. I mean, these little buggers, like, there's so many of them. It's like, you know, do you really want to spend a lot of time on them? When you got like fucking bazillion of them to do. Very nice Goobelins. Nice, like, nice highlighting on the flesh. The cloth, it looks good too. I mean, with a whole bunch of them, it's really a question of, you know, how much time do you want to spend, you know, highlight. You know, look, I like how you got a bit of a non-metallic metal going on the little moons at the end of the net. That's pretty good. Yeah. I like that. Oh, okay. I see you kind of doing that too with the metals. Like on the arrowhead. I could see you kind of going for a non-metallic metal there. And a spike in this mushroom. Yeah. That's pretty darn good. Okay, that gets a like. How many more we got to go? Oh, look at this guy. Ooh, look at the cloak. Color scheme is interesting. I like the deep green that goes to a kind of a yellow hue. With the collar, that purple collar. Oh, Disco Mini Painter. Oh, Disco Duke. Yeah. Am I on the right window? Yeah, I'm on the right window. Just making sure I'm not cycling through porn or something like that on my window. So this is our buddy Disco Duke. Yeah. Let me go back to the first, or the image. Now, I don't know what he is for, if he's for, like, you know, Warcry or Underworlds, or if he's for regular Age of Sigmar army. I don't know if this is the way you're basing all your dudes, or were you going for, like, an OSL type of effect? Yeah, because it feels like a lot of colors at play here, because that staff is very saturated color. The cloak is this dark green with the magenta collar, and then the light of his flesh, and it, like, in the blue of the base. It feels like a lot of color at play. I'd be mindful of that. I think in the future, if you want to avoid that, I would desaturate the staff by, you know, just using simply a gray in that, and when you're bringing it up. Now, mind you, that probably is contrast, right? Is that contrast you did that with? Either way, it doesn't really matter. You can always knock that color down a bit, just by, you know, not going so saturated with the color. If you were gonna, like, if that was, say, for example, like our Garros Dune or Snakebite Leather, and you wanted to desaturate it, you could always apply it on top of a gray and use the color. You could also add a bit of, say, for example, like, what is the gray? Basilicum gray. You could always add a splash of Basilicum gray. You could also add a splash of a red into the brown, not the red. Is it red? Well, you would have to. No, it'd be a blue. You'd have to throw a slight amount of blue into it to knock that yellowy brown out. It's neutralizing it with the complementary color is really what I'm driving at here. But very, very cool. Thank you for sending that, or posting that, sharing it. Ave, we've seen a few of his models here. He does the, I can't remember what the hell, Minotaurs or whatever they are. Wolf Lord, Space Wolves. Okay. Don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about here. I like the cloak. Very, very cool. Yeah, let's give it a like. Give it a like. Shield Duder. Ooh, I like the sword. Is that like a power glow thing? I don't know if that's a non-metallic or if that's a power glow. Looks more like a power glow to me. Very, very cool. Almost looks like you're going for like a blend, like a wet blend there. Oh, I like the glow on the orbs in the back of the shield. I like that. Nice work there. Very cool. Shaky Brush Mini. Oh, Shaky Brush. Okay. Who's this? Oh, this is Eldari. Working on his, what is it? Fucking Lumineth. That's it. Lumineth Realm Lord. Fuck, I'm working on the model here, but, oh, I've already liked it. Okay. I've already seen this, apparently. I just didn't remember. Oh, man. Very nice, though. Yeah, I like the color scheme. Very, very cool. Goobelin. Oh, we didn't give this guy, like, there we go. I think we already seen these guys, though. Oh, look at this Squiggy. Ooh, look at the Squigs. Very, very cool. More Space Marine or Space Wolves. I think if you really want that, like the blood on the axes to really kind of come forward, I think you need to use some more brighter metals. If you really want that blood to really kind of sparkle and really kind of draw the viewer's eye. Now, you're highlighting. I can see like it almost looks like you're creating little chips everywhere. It's interesting. Up close, it makes the surface look very busy. I'd be mindful of that. I'd probably reduce the amount of chips I'm doing. Bring forward some of the highlights on the edges and stuff, and then create the chips. Ooh, Paint Minis 1990. Very, very cool. I like the purple. I like the base. I like the whole, the color scheme of it all. I like that he went for the neutral, or she, I don't know, he or she, whatever, doesn't matter. A very neutral tone on the guns and the weapons. And, you know, you have that light green in the eyes and on the shield and in the base, and that brings the eye around. You know, I like the neutral tone for the trim of the armor. But then that purple and the green, that lime green, really kind of play with each other. Play with each other. You know what I mean. Yeah, very cool. I like this one. I usually am not a big fan of Space Marines. Like, you know, it's because you see so many goddamn of them. Very, very cool. Yeah. It's pretty shaky here. Holy man, making me shaky. I'm like, whoa, slow down. They're probably talking. I'm just not listening to them. I don't have the sound up on this. But pretty cool. Okay. Oh, shaky brush. Dark Angel. We'll give it a like already. I'm already in. I'm sold. I'm already in. Like the backpack. That's a lot of fun. This looks like it's a model from like Skibor or something like that, right? I don't know. I have no idea who makes this model. Nice work on the flesh on his face. Be mindful when you are working with primarily dark color schemes that the areas where they're supposed to be bright, you probably should mask them off. Even if you worked with, say, a gray primer, it would have probably been better, because then for the really bright areas that you want to build up, you probably have to lay down a lot of paint. We got more? Oh, this is part of a battle scene. Or face-off? Square-off? I don't know. Oh, he's bleeding. Hunt for the Fallen. Diorama. Interesting. Yeah. Good stuff. I think we looked at these last time. Because, yeah, Disco Duke was showing us his undead duders. Yeah, I already like these ones. Yeah. I think a slight dry brushing on the metal, just to bring those edges out a bit. To really kind of add to that worn appearance. I don't know what I'm looking at. What am I looking at here? Spray booth? Masking off things? Oh, you're doing the lines. Okay. I was like, what the hell am I looking at here? Yeah, you're spraying the lines on their bases. Gotcha. Got him. Oh, very cool. Yeah, a faction that really should never have been is this faction, Custodes. Who the fuck thought this was a good idea? Custodes. They're supposed to be watching the Emperor's back. Aren't they? Isn't this faction supposed to be guarding the Emperor? Why the fuck are they gallivanting around the universe? Oh, this is my thing. Oh, this is me. It's a fun little vid I did. Anyway, that's our little Instagram side of things. So if you don't feel like sending me an email and, you want to share what you're working on and maybe have me have a peek at your work, yeah, feel free to just use the hashtag #WaveTheBrush. And I will try and, get to it during the show. I've been trying to do this little Instagram segment every week. But yeah, just use the hashtag #WaveTheBrush. #WaveTheBrush. Of course, if you're watching this, then you know it's #WaveTheBrush, right? #WaveTheBrush. You get it. Lupus, they're all nuts. They are all nuts. Old Man Logan, hey there, Kris. Glad you started late today. Thought I missed it. What? I didn't start late today. I started right at 12. It's 12. I send the tweet and everything like that. God damn it, man. You're not paying attention. Or are you trying to be funny? Are you trying to be funny? Is that what it is? You're trying to be funny? 16 minutes OT. I think we're done. If you're brand new to this hobby, you want some help, you have questions about technique, product, whatever it is, you have questions. I know you have questions. And you don't know where to turn, feel free to ask your questions here on the show live or send me an email. Kris@wavethebrush.com. It is in the description below, as well as a link to wavethebrush.com, central hub of all the silliness, has links to all the social medias and Discord. Join us on Discord. It's a lot of fun. We keep the conversations rolling there. And of course, that's another place you can ask your questions as well. And if I don't get to your question, one of the monkeys will. And the monkeys are very knowledgeable and more than willing to help And of course, a lot of them have been paying attention to what I've been telling people for a long time. And so you're more than likely to get similar advice, and you take it. And because it's all good advice. It's all good advice. It's all about sharing knowledge and expanding our horizons and not being little zealots in dogma. And it's about expanding our horizons and becoming better and brighter. And, yeah, that's what it's all about. Mostly. And dick and fart jokes as well. We throw in some dick and fart jokes as well. Also at wayofthebrush.com is links for t-shirts. Want to get yourself a t-shirt? Look like a connoisseur of all that is good and holy in this world. You're wearing a Way of the Brush t-shirt. And if you purchase yourself a shirt, send a picture of yourself in your shirt, and I will add it to the Monkey Shrine, which is also at wayofthebrush.com. Of course, there's also a link, or links, if you're watching this on YouTube, it should be down below. There's t-shirts there. You just click it and buy a shirt. Help the cause. And again, it'll obviously set you apart from the rest of the riffraff out there, and you'll immediately become sexier to the opposite sex or the same sex, to whoever you want. It'll make you look more confident. That's the big one, right? When people are like, oh, look at that person, but as soon as there's somebody confident comes into the room, you go, oh, look at this person, right? You immediately become sexier as soon as you're confident, regardless of any of the situations. You are immediately sexier when you're more confident. And when you're wearing your Way of the Brush shirt, you will be more confident, and you'll be telling people you are more confident, and they'll go, oh, that guy's more confident. He's wearing a Way of the Brush shirt. Seriously. I'm serious. I'm dead serious about this. As I almost tried to say that. Oh shit, yeah, we didn't name the episode. Oh right. Dark Commission episode 329. Too cool for a title. You know what? That's it. You win, Dark. You win. You win by default, because I fucking forgot. You win. Default. The two sweetest words in the English language. Default. Too cool for a title. That's it. You win. You win. What do you win? My undying love. Also at wayofthebrush.com is a link for Patreon support. Huge thank you to all my patrons. Without their support, this channel would not be able to continue on, and I would not be able to continue to do what I do, which is educate, inform, and sometimes entertain. But my biggest concern is, of course, educating you guys and, making sure you're getting good information. That's what I'm all about. I'm all about helping you guys. That's what this channel is all about. It's about helping you become better at this hobby. Making you enjoying your hobby more. I don't know why. It sounds a bit like a Shatner kind of voice, but that's where we're going. If you're not able to support monetarily, i.e. money, thumbing up the video, liking, following, subscribing, sharing, ringing the bell, all that stuff, commenting, all that. Interacting with the video, any and all interactions with the video help the video get populated outwards, and, the algorithm. It's all for the algorithm gods. And I they make me do it. YouTube sends a person over like every other day with a gun and says, have you been reminding people to, pray to the algorithm god? And it's like, yeah, I did. I'm trying. I'm trying my best. So please, for the love of God, help me so they'll stop sending armed men to my house. Thumb up the video. They're coming. They're gonna take my thumbs. Speaking of thumbs, that's not really a great segue. Always say thank you to Carl Geimer for Beer and Blood Bowl. That's his YouTube channel. Check him out. We always take time. Thank Carl, even though he is no longer with us in this world, for creating the intro or email intro music that plays before the email segments of the show. So always much love for Carl. And of course, speaking of love, much love to my baby brother Evan for creating the intro, outro music that plays at the beginning and end of the show. So always much love to my baby bro. And of course, check him out, EB Comics. If you're into rare comics, rare, like we're talking rare, obscure, like the kind of comics that might get you into trouble with the law, he's got them. EB Comics. I don't know if he's got those comics, but I might be overselling it. Who knows? I might be overselling it. Lupe. purpose. Submit. Yeah. Steady diet of dogma. Propaganda and dogma. And you'll be right as rain. I mean, if you want to get into the head of a space marine, yeah, that's how you do it. Steady diet, dogma, and propaganda. And you'll be a space marine in no time. Storming the Capitol. Dark Commission. I prefer my comic mediums or well done. You prefer your comics medium or well done? Oh, and rare? I get it. Jokes. I get jokes. Oh, man. Is that it? We're done? We plugged all the things? Did we plug all the things? I'm going to say something I'm probably going to regret. Get me kicked off this platform. That's okay. I don't give a shit. Because you can't say anything anymore, man. You just can't. You can't say anything anymore. Yeah, I just did. All right, I'm getting the hell out of here. You guys enjoy the rest of your Saturday or whatever else you're doing. And, of course, hopefully you've been productive. Hopefully you're working on something. Or maybe not. Maybe you're just chilling out. That's okay. Because, it's your life. And you're free to do with whatever you want to do with your life. Because, again, we don't live in the 41st millennium. Thank God we don't live in the 41st millennium. We live in the here and now. And now, let's take it easy.